Chill by Sakura HC. Take You There, feat. Ria Chuni by Spec.
Hello, 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 everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I'm super excited again. I think I just say that every time because it's super true. I really like reading bedtime stories and chilling with you guys. It's so much fun. So, thank you guys so much for coming and for the shares and stuff that have already happened. Hi, Craig! Thank you so much for coming. Oh man, I'm excited for today. We've got some fun chapters to read. We are reading in the book, if you guys are just joining us, we are reading, the name of this book is Secret. This is 100%, I was not joking when I said the name of this book is Secret. That's what it is. Awesome. Yeah, I just had dinner. I was like, oh, it's Wednesday. This quarantine has made me completely lose track of the days. It's Wednesday. I have to do the things. So yes, enjoy dinner. Thank you so much for having me in the background. So the way I'm gonna go over some quick guideline really thingies really quick here before I get started. Number one, I will be reading the entire, well, for the first chapter, and then we're going to take a break for the second chapter where I will read your comment, which means I cannot be responding to comments during book reading's time because I will be reading a book and it's really hard to read comments and books at the same time. So please understand, but we will have, we're reading 2 chapters every night, which means there'll be a halfway break point where I will read all of said comments and things. Or I guess unsaid, because that's, you know, I had chicken. Chicken is good. Let's see. The mod is mad at the I wonder why. Oh well. It's a real thing. Hello, welcome. Thank you guys so much for coming. You guys are amazing. But you already knew that. All right, let me move this over a little bit. We're doing some quick changer stuff here. Oh, gotcha. That's funny, actually. All right, so like I said, I will not be able to respond during once we actually get started reading, and then I believe I have some mods coming in, but if anybody else comes back or comes in and they're like trying to get me to to talk or whatnot, just let them know that I will do so at the break. If you guys could help me with that, that would be great. Thank you so much. And yeah, let's get started. So, last time in the name of this book is Secret. That would be really weird. So, Cass and Max-Ernest, 2 unthought of as heroes, and also complete polar opposites. Cassandra being the girl who is always prepared for any catastrophe, no matter what it may be. She ended up partnering up with Max-Ernest, who is the most talkative man on God's green earth, and also quite a puzzle enthusiast. He's an aspiring comedian as much as she is an aspiring, I don't remember what you call them, but like, kind of conspiracy theorist, whatnot. So, yeah, so they partnered up together. because they found because Cassandra in her grandfather's kind of odds and ends shop found a briefcase full of a bunch of different smells and different mixtures of smells and scents, and it was called the Symphony of Smells, which they had later learned was from a deceased magician, and they kind of came to the conclusion that he was asking for their help, and as they were the people who found the Symphony of Smells, it was up to them to find out what had happened to him or find out if he is truly dead. With that, they went to the house and they found a secret room. And whilst in that secret room, they found a couple, Dr. L and Miss Mavis, who are also searching for this professor or magician type man. And but they don't seem to be the savory type, as after being discovered, the two were chased all over town. And in the last chapter that we read, the leather-bound notebook that they had uncovered had a poem of sorts in the front, and they uncovered that as the words underneath. So somehow this empty notebook is able to be read somehow underneath. And with that, I'm gonna do a little swippity swap here so you can see this. My apologies that the book is upside down, but it's hard for me to read upside down sometimes. So, chapter 9, A Tight Leash. Let's see. Unfortunately, Cass's mother seemed to think that her absence meant Cass should have less freedom rather than more. A week after she broke the news about the trip, even though she was late for the airport, her mother spent 20 minutes listing all the things Cass wasn't allowed to do while she was gone, including sliding down the fire pole and riding the back of Wayne's pickup truck. Cass's mother pushed a credit card into Cass's hands. "For emergencies only," she said, "but there better not be any." Then she turned towards Cass's substitute grandfathers, and now substitute guardians. "Remember, she's not as adult as she seems. She's still our little girl." Which was just about the most infuriating thing her mother could say. "Don't worry, I'll keep it on a tight leash," said Grandpa Larry, which made Cass even madder. "Yeah, Sebastian has a few extras," joked Grandpa Wayne, which was so unfunny. It wasn't funny. Apparently, keeping Cass on a tight leash meant dragging her around with them wherever they went. As soon as her mother left, Grandpa Larry and Grandpa Wayne started filling out their out-of-school time with trips to the flea market and swap meets and garage sales and auto part junkyards. They said they were just checking out the competition, but Cass noticed that they never left anywhere empty-handed. After 2 days with them, Cass never wanted to see another old or broken thing for the rest of her life. Still, the field trips were a relief compared to the time she spent in the shop. Whenever she was at the fire station, Cass worried that Gloria might show up and tell her grandfathers about seeing Cass at the magician's house. What had Gloria called her? A trespasser and a thief? Hearing those words would be enough for her grandfathers to call her mother, and to get her mother to cancel the rest of her trip, and to get Cass in pretty much the biggest trouble she had ever been in. Unable to bear the suspense any longer, Cass asked her grandfathers if they heard anything from Gloria. "Oh, don't you worry. She'll always come back," said Grandpa Wayne, completely misunderstanding Cass's concern. "And I'm sure she'll have plenty of loot. Maybe she'll even have a new adding machine for us. Wouldn't that be cool?" Cass wasn't sure what could be less cool than a new adding machine, unless it was the way Grandpa Larry or Grandpa Wayne said the word cool. In any case, his answer did not reassure her. But Gloria stayed away that day, and the next day, and the next day. Gradually, Cass's anxiety about Gloria reappearing was replaced with a new anxiety, an anxiety about Gloria disappearing. What if Dr. L and Miss Mavis had what if Miss Dr. L and Miss Mavis had done something to her? What if that's why Gloria hadn't stopped by the shop? The more Cass thought about it, the more certain Cass had become about Gloria had met some terrible fate. That the magician's house was so remote, Gloria's body might rot there for years, and nobody would know. When the next Saturday arrived, Cass's grandfathers announced that it was time for them to take their once-a-year inventory. Each and every single thing in the shop had to be counted. Cass could only imagine what this would be like. The store was so disorganized that it would take an entire year to catalog its contents, and then it would be time for the next year's inventory. She couldn't ask for a better opportunity to return to the magician's house and resume her investigations. And as if she was trying to be helpful, she offered to take Sebastian for a walk. For a while, take Sebastian for a walk while her grandfathers were working. They accepted on the condition that she not stay away too long. Cass knew they would lose track of time as soon as they got started on the inventory, so she readily agreed. She even promised to clean up after the dog. Being blind, Sebastian had a tendency to go about his business in inconvenient places. There was also a thing she had to do before she left. In case her grandfathers were more efficient about taking inventory than she imagined, Cass stealthily removed the Symphony of Smells from her backpack and slipped it back onto the shelf where Grandpa Larry had last stored it. Probably they wouldn't look, but it was better to be careful. Besides, her backpack was heavy enough as it was. The magician's notebook, of course, she kept. No way she was leaving that. Then she said a loud goodbye and headed out with Sebastian. The morning was sunny and windy, which was one of Cass's favorite weather conditions, and she was happy and excited about the day ahead of her. She also liked it when the weather was sunny and rainy at the same time, which is when it's most likely to see a rainbow. However, mud would have made it difficult to dig, so it would be a good thing if it wasn't raining. Meanwhile, Cass went over her list of supplies. She took her own inventory, so to speak, until she was satisfied she had everything she needed. From a collapsible shovel to extra plastic bags for picking up dog poop. In no time at all, Cass felt confident she and Max-Ernest would find whatever it was the magician had buried in the ground. She only hoped that they didn't find the magician, or Gloria, buried along with it. When she reached Max-Ernest's house, Cass hit a snag. Max-Ernest was standing in the driveway, flipping a coin in the air. On one side of him, his mother sat in a car. On the other side of him, his father sat in his car. Okay, heads I go with Mom, and tails I go with Dad, he was saying as Cass walked up to him. This was the way Max-Ernest made his decisions concerning his parents, so he didn't have to pick a favorite. The coin fell on the ground before him, and he grabbed it. Oh, darn! You made me mess up, he said to Cass. Well, it's okay, because you're not going with either of your parents. You're going with me, said Cass. We're going back to the magician's house, she added in a whisper. We can't, Max-Ernest. I'm going to a new doctor, Max-Ernest whispered back. Tell them it's important. But he thinks he knows what my condition is. I have to go. Well, then I'll just have to go to the magician's house without you, said Cass, very displeased with this turn of events. Go without me? Asked Max-Ernest in alarm. Don't worry, I know how to handle myself, said Cass, which was a line she had once heard in a movie. That's not what I meant, said Max-Ernest. I thought we were partners. You said we were collaborating. Cass immediately bristled at the suggestion. I never said that. That was just something to tell our parents. We're not really building that volcano. I'm a survivalist, remember? I don't count on anybody but myself. Oh, well, I never counted on anybody either. Something about the way he said this, maybe it was the fact that there were tears welling up in his eyes, made Cass think twice. Although Cass liked to think of herself as a fearless adventurer, she also wanted to be fair-minded. Technically, it was true. She never had agreed to collaborate with Max-Ernest on the investigation, but she had acted like they were collaborators, and it amounted to the same thing. Almost. Maybe he was right. She shouldn't go without him. After a few seconds of intense, whispered negotiations, they agreed to go back to the magician's house Monday after school, even if it meant having to skip the oboe lesson for Cass and mathematics meeting for Max-Ernest. Disappointed, but resigned, Cass turned around and headed back to the firehouse. When she got there, she let Sebastian off his leash and opened the big red front door. Usually, Sebastian would run in at this point and head to the kitchen in search for food. This time, Sebastian hesitated at the door, refusing to enter when Cass tried nudging him in. What's wrong? Don't you want your breakfast? Don't you food? Eat? Cass waited until he finally entered the store, but he kept growling and turning his head this way and that, as if trying to catch an elusive scent. Cass looked inside. Everything was the way she had left it. It didn't look as though her grandfathers had made any headway on the inventory. Grandpa Larry? Grandpa Wayne? Nobody answered. Cass couldn't remember the firehouse ever being so silent. She called their names again. Something was wrong. Her instincts told her to turn around and leave as fast as she could, which was exactly what she should have done, and what you and I should do if we ever find ourselves in this sort of situation. But if her grandfathers were bound and gagged and locked in a closet, she could have saved them, but she didn't. Or what if they were lying in the kitchen in a pool of blood, breathing out their last breaths, and she could have been there, and she could have been there to hear their dying wishes, but she wasn't? Or what if, instead of entertaining quietly, Cass made a lot of noise, or entering quietly, Cass made a lot of noise when she was walking in. She talked loudly to Sebastian. She banged on furniture and figured if the bad guys heard her, maybe they would sneak out, avoiding to be seen. It was better than surprising them and having them knock her unconscious in a moment of panic. For about 10 tense minutes, Cass searched the firehouse. She had never realized how many hiding places there were in her grandfather's store, how many wardrobes to climb into and tables to climb under. Even so, it looked like her strategy had worked. The bad guys had left, and when they heard her, or else they had already left, or maybe they'd never been there. Her grandfathers were not tied up in a closet. There was no blood in the kitchen floor, and everything seemed to be okay, except for the fact that her grandfathers were missing. Then she heard a loud bang sound like gunfire. Dun, dun, dun! Chapter 10. An awful accusation. But it is here and now that we will take a quick little break so that I can read comments and talk to you guys. Hockey Night, thank you so much for the host. You're amazing. Thank you. Mwah! It's awesome. All right, let me make this screen a little bit bigger if my mouse will work for me. Okay. We are working to make this. I will be a professional streamer one day. I will. All right. Then we've got this, and we put it there. We do this, then we do that. Transition. Thank you so much. Don't bother Maxine, she's reading. Exactly. I'm reading. So what did you guys think of that first chapter there? Crazy. I love Cass. She's amazing. Like, she's definitely got that, like, I know what I'm doing, I've got all this under control, but obviously doesn't. Like, she's still a kid. Keep in mind, these kids are in middle school, like high elementary, middle school. Other than that, though, they are just normal, average, everyday kiddigans. So, no, you're more amazing, Hockey Night. Just go back and forth. You. So I hope you guys are all, there you go, enjoying this book. It is one of my favorite book series. Oh man, what do you guys think happened to the grandfathers? Grandpa Larry and Grandpa Wayne, the substitute grandfathers. What do you think happened to them? I mean, I know, but I'm not going to tell you. Mwahaha. No, come back. Okay, there I am. Yay! There we go. I love your little smiley face. Ray, I don't know where that heart emote came from, but it is so cool. That is so cool. It looks like the top of the scepter from the Felicia Day. Oh, why am I blanking on it? Yeah, okay, so I was right. Okay, cool. I was right. Okay. The Felicia Day emote. Gotcha. I am a nerd. Yay! I'm super excited that you guys are all here, and it makes me happy. So the next chapter that we have, I was looking over it a little bit. It's not extremely long, but the chapter after that is. So we will probably end a little bit early, possibly talk, have a little bit longer to chat. We'll also chat a little bit longer here, because, short chapter being a short chapter and all. So, yay! You guys are amazing and you make me very happy. See if anybody... I've got people that message me on Twitter because you guys are amazing. Thank you guys so much for all of the shares on Twitter. You guys are awesome. And all of the other places. Also, if you guys like what you see here, feel free to hit the subscribe button above or donate to my Ko-fi below. All of the proceeds help me. Right now, I am saving up for an art pad for my art streams, a digital art pad for my art streams. So I'm saving up for that. And then after that, all of the rest and continuous ones will go to making the stream even better. Thank you so much, Hellsong! Thank you for the follow! Kissy face! Mwah! You are amazing! Thank you so much! So yeah, all of the proceeds, including the digital art pad, will help go to making this stream bigger and better and more aesthetically pleasing. We are working on, I actually have the lovely Kay making, Undead Kay is her, I believe, her handle, making her epic debut, and by debut I just mean on this channel. She's making me some overlays, and I'm super excited about them, and it will totally help with all of the like screen changing and stuff, so it doesn't take so long, and they're gonna look so cool. She showed me some of the starting stuff with it, and I'm so excited to get them up and running. But until then, go check her out anyway. Excuse me. Go check her out anyway. She's pretty awesome. You can also find me on Welcome Party RPG and Thread Raiders. Those channels are awesome. And I make owlbears. I make things. Owlbear dice bags. All right. It is 8:30, so we are getting ready to go back into reading. And like I said before, when I am reading, I'm not able to look at the comments because I'm reading. So if you have anything you want to say, go ahead and say it. And just like at this break, at the end, I will have another little part to read all of the comments. So feel free to chat with your friends about the book, kind of make guesstimations about what's going to happen. Conspiracy theory all you want. This book is a troll if I have ever read one. So feel free to make your guesstimations and figure out what's going on. And we will continue to read. So, but yeah, I will not be able to respond or read your comments until after the chapter is over. So, yes. Gonna grab one more drink, and then off to the races we go. All right. And then we're gonna take this. We do this. Just prep it for next time. Cools. Nope. Alright, there we go. Okay. Let's start this chapter. Chapter 10. An awful accusation. Cass held her breath, unable to move. Had someone been shot? Cass, what's wrong? You're white as a sheet. Grandpa Larry entered, followed by Grandpa Wayne, their arms full of new purchases. What she'd heard wasn't gunfire, only the front door. I thought something happened. Didn't you see our note? Asked Grandpa Larry. There was a garage sale down the street. We couldn't resist. What's with Sebastian? Asked Grandpa Wayne. He looks worse than you. I don't know, admitted Cass. He's been acting weird all day. Only then did Cass notice where Sebastian was standing, right next to the shelf where they had stored the Symphony of Smells. Cass blinked in surprise. It was gone. Grandpa Larry followed her eyes. What happened to the Symphony of Smells? Did you take it down? No. I mean, yes, but I put it back. Well, where is it? I thought we'd agreed only to look at it together. Grandpa Larry, giving her a slightly reproachful glance. It should be there. This was perfectly true, but somehow it sounded like Cass was lying, even to herself. It wouldn't be with your things by any chance, like your big book bag? Asked Grandpa Wayne. She shook her head, blushing furiously. You know, your ears are telling a different story, said Grandpa Larry. She couldn't believe it. Her grandfathers were actually accusing her of stealing. Usually, they were the only ones who trusted her. And the worst thing was, she couldn't even open the bag to prove the Symphony of Smells wasn't there. They would see the magician's book. No, The very worst thing was that they were right. She had stolen the Symphony of Smells. But she admitted that she had, and that she had put it back, which made it borrowing, not stealing. So why did she feel so ashamed? This was all so unfair. Just try to think where you might have put it, said Grandpa Larry. I know you thought it was a game, but it's very rare and valuable. She knows that, said Grandpa Wayne. I'm sure she'll find it and put it right back where it was. Nobody mentioned the Symphony of Smells to her again that day, but Cass could tell her grandfathers were thinking about it. At one point, she heard them talking in low voices, speculating that she might have broken some of the vials and felt too guilty to say anything. If only. As far as Cass was concerned, there was only one explanation for the Symphony of Smells disappearance. Dr. L and Miss Mavis had been there. Their scent must have been what upset Sebastian. For a brief, mad moment, Cass considered telling her grandfathers everything that had happened at the magician's house, and how she was sure the Symphony of Smells had been stolen by Dr. L and Miss Mavis. But she knew it would only make it look like she was making up a story to exonerate herself. Once she solved the mystery of what had happened to the magician, maybe then she could confide in them, and maybe then they would trust her again. She should have confessed. Should she have confessed at all? I will let you, the reader, be the judge. As experienced as I know you are at plotting and scheming and getting in and out of scrapes, grown-ups can be useful at times. Money and car rides come to mind, but they also have a habit of getting in the way when you want to do something they don't approve of. Cass hardly admitted it to herself, but she was beginning to wish her mother hadn't left town. Before she left, her mother had given Cass her cell phone, something Cass had wanted for years. So we won't really be apart, her mother said, just like she had promised. Her mother called every night at 9 p.m. sharp to say goodnight, even though they both knew Cass never went to bed before midnight. But Cass felt so much pressure to act like everything was fine that their conversation only made her feel more alone. It was a new sensation, missing her mom, and she didn't like it. That night, she told her mother she was too sleepy to talk. So, Larry and Wayne are running you ragged, huh? Her mother asked. Cass forced a laugh she didn't feel. Yeah, totally ragged. After she said a rather abrupt goodbye, she turned off the cell phone. Grandpa Larry came to her room. She figured he was going to talk to her about the Symphony of Smells again. But what he said was, "Hurry, they're hot." He placed a plate of chocolate chip cookies and a glass of milk beside her bed. "You'd better eat them quickly if you want to burn your tongue. You get all the chocolate all over your fingers." Cass laughed a bit and bit into a cookie. It was warm and soft, and the chocolate was still melted, which was, as Grandpa Larry knew well, just how Cass liked her cookies. As she swallowed the last bite, she held up her chocolate-covered hand to show him. I didn't know your other hand still looks pretty clean," he said sternly. Cass felt a little silly, but she obliged and grabbed another cookie with her other hand and ate it with even more quickly than the first. "Good. Now, make sure you smear the chocolate all over your glass. I want evidence." While Cass drank the glass of milk, soothing her burned tongue, Grandpa Larry moved her backpack aside and sat down at the edge of her bed, then proceeded to tell her a story. A year earlier, if someone had baked Cass cookies and tried to tell her bedtime story, she might have been insulted and felt that she was being treated like a little child. Now, she was just old enough to enjoy, again, the cozy comforts of a bedtime story. And trust me, the older you get, the more appealing the idea of bedtime stories, and the rarer the chance to hear one. I won't repeat Grandpa Larry's entire story here because it is what some people would call off topic, but I will give you a sense of the general outline. The story was about a time Grandpa Larry got separated from his platoon during his stint in the army. The story involved a reed that Larry had pulled out of the ground where it was growing next to a pond. In a single day, Larry used the reed as an underwater breathing device, a fishing pole, a wind instrument, a weapon, and a straw. Then the reed snapped in two. He was convinced his luck had run out. Without the use of his magic reed, he told himself he would perish. As it turned out, however, the sound of the reed breaking had alerted one of his comrades to his presence, and he was reunited with his platoon moments later. So you see, breaking the reed wasn't the end of the world. It just the end of the reed. And the end of the story. Not to mention the end of these cookies, he finished Grandpa Larry, taking the last cookie for himself. But Cass couldn't respond. Before Cass could respond, Grandpa Wayne, who had been listening from the doorway, stepped into the room. I don't understand, he said. There were plenty more uses for that reed, even after you broke it. You could have made splints, toothpicks, chopsticks, and a flute. Or at least a piccolo. I'm surprised at you. Larry, what happened to your imagination? That's not the point, Wayne, and you know it, said Larry in one of the crossest tones Cass had ever heard him use. Cass, listen. It doesn't matter about the Symphony of Smells. Whatever happened, it was just a thing. I know you know we like things, and the Symphony of Smells was a nice thing, but, well, if it's gone, it's gone. Right, we can always make a new one, said Grandpa Wayne, at last catching the message of Larry's story. In fact, I have an old set of test tubes I found, and I've been wondering what to do with them. We could start collecting scents and putting them in tubes, and what we're trying to say is that the human beings are more important than things, said Larry, interrupting Wayne. At least Cass is more important, Wayne qualified. Cass, your appearance in our lives has been the greatest gift we could ever ask for, Larry continued, as if Wayne hadn't spoken. No matter how many boxes Gloria delivers at our doorstep, nothing inside 'em could match you. We love you very much. As he said this, he put his arms around Cass, and Cass snuggled gratefully against him. I love you too, she said, but she never said a word about what happened to the Symphony of Smells or anything else. Moments later, after the grandfathers had bid her good night, Cass picked up her backpack and placed it against her pillow, just in case. Chapter 11. The Magician's Notebook. And with that, we are at the end of our chapters here with the name of this book is Secret. Keep in mind, if you missed last week's episode or you missed part of this week's episode, feel free to go to my YouTube channel, That Girl at That Place, and you will find last week's and all of the other previous episodes and chapters there on the book, as well as a lot of the RPG things that I do from the previous years that I have been doing role-playing games and whatnot. So, also, if you would like to find me, you can find me anywhere and everywhere at Lady Skyburn on Instagram and everywhere else at that girl at that place. So I'm super, super excited to see you guys. Thank you so much for your, let's see. What do we got here? Hell Song for the follow. Thank you, Triple D, for the follow. Thank you, Hockey Night, for the follow. And Crossbow. Nope. So, Hell Song for the follow. Thank you so much. The grandfather's voices are great. Yeah, I super love it. And I keep getting them mixed up, though. So, one of them it was distinctly an English accent. And like my brain has been stuck on Scottish and like Irish and different like that kind of dialect. And so I've been going back and forth and giving them both Scottish accents and stuff. But they're adventurers and explorers, and one of them has an English accent and the other one doesn't. So I'm just gonna they're interchangeable. They're just both amazing, and I love both of the grandfathers. So yeah, that's how that goes. But yeah, so I love them. And seriously, how sweet is that moment? Like, girl, your hand is clean. It needs chocolate. Oh, that other hand. The other hand needs it. Oh, the glass. The glass is far too clean. We just let's make sure that your face isn't burnt. Okay, now let's talk. Like, it's so sweet. So sweet. Like when I first read that, and the second time I read that, and honestly just now, it kind of makes me tear up a little bit because it's just too cute. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any comments or anything, go ahead. Now is the time to open chat and do the chatting chats. Also, I know some of you guys have been here since chapter 1. How are you guys thinking the story's progressing? Are you guys liking it? It's been kind of like there's already character development with Cassandra at least. And it's kind of cool to see her interacting with a lot of the different people. And, oh man, Dr. Ella Miss Mavis just showing up. Like, I wonder how long they were there though. Like, looking through everything just to get the Symphony of Smells. It's crazy to think about. So, oh, I should put the music back on. That's fun. I'm gonna do that. Let me put on some more music, cause music. Do. Oh. Do. Some music. There we go. Nope, not that one. I was wrong. Royalty-free music is hard to find sometimes. Okay. There we go. Done. This one. Do that thing. There you go. Get some fun music in here. There you go. So yeah, I'm super excited that you guys were here. Next week, I'll go through the other things that I do. You can find me here reading the next 2 chapters of The Name of This Book is Secret next Wednesday from 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you like role-playing stuff, then please, by all means, check out Thread Raiders every other Sunday. So not this coming Sunday, but the next Sunday, where we played Tomb of Annihilation. And I play a Russian Black Panther, who is literally the worst barbarian that there ever was. It's sad. In a very funny way. And then every single Tuesday from 8 to 11 on Welcome Party RPG, you will find me with a bunch of other epic people, as well as Kate, the one that I was saying is doing my overlay. She is playing as well, and we are playing Riffs, Blood, Dirt, and Chrome, and I play a Sci-Tech Techno-Jack. That's what it is, Sci-Tech Techno-Jack. And it is a mismatch of some pretty fun things, and literally the opposite of me when it comes to technology, because she knows what she's doing. I do not. But other than that, on my Instagram, Lady Skyburn, I do a weekly art prompt, so check those out. I should be starting I think I want to do one this week with like an art stream where I'm actually working on my version of the art prompt, which this week is Picasso playing with fireworks. So if you would like to join that and draw your own version of Picasso playing with fireworks, then go ahead and tag me in it on Instagram or Twitter or anywhere else that you find me, and I would love to take your picture and put it in the gallery in my story on Instagram. That would be awesome. I love seeing participation. That would be so much fun. So yeah, and like I said, you can find me here and all those other fun places. Also, go under here and grab out, well, maybe not. Give me a second. I should have grabbed this beforehand. But, you know, I'm not always the most on top of things. I also make owlbear dice bags, which you can find my owlbear dice bags. I'm going to go ahead and put the website here. .nerdychicken. .nerdychicken. Okay, I think I spelled that right. .ca. There you go, www.nerdychicken.ca. You can find my owlbear dice bags. This is the original one, like the regular size. And then they also come in extra large. And now I am starting to make cubs, little bubbas. I guess they're not really cubs. They're just keychain versions. So it comes with a little keychain. And how they work is they have the dice bag itself is the body, and you remove the functional belly button, lift it up, and there's a dice bag inside. It's like a drawstring dice bag, and it's super cool, and I love them, and they're so much fun. So if you would like to, because of the coronavirus going around, the shop, Nerdy Chicken Shop, I do have 3 of them there, but because of the virus, I don't want to be mailing out a whole bunch of bears to them just to mail it to you guys. I'd rather go from one quarantine house to another. So if you would like one, then please message me, like I said, on any of the Instagram, Twitter, Instagram or Twitter mainly, and we can talk about your custom one. So, yeah. Excuse me, it has been a long day. But yes, if you would like one, then let me know, and I can go ahead and we can get that process started for you to have your very own owlbear. Other than that, I think we're going to go ahead and sign off. You guys have been amazing. And there you go. You guys have been amazing, and I cannot wait to talk to you guys again. I will see you if you come to the Welcome Party RPG. I will see you Tuesday. If not, then I will see you next Wednesday, 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for bedtime stories. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed the book, and I will see you again later. Bye! Remember, guys, little goals, big dreams. Bye!
always struggle comparing my art with others. Chakun, there's like, I understand. And I think one of the biggest things that I find almost not toxic, but something that people don't understand, that when you are always 100% positive all the time, that takes a big toll on you. It's very unrealistic to always be like, you have to be happy, you have to stay like positive, you have to, you know, blah blah blah. Because when you feel like crap sometimes, that's when you grow the most.